Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And this video will be the last one of the day. I cannot go on. It is depressing me with this set of videos today. It's just so awful. What a world we live in. We've had a look at the awfulness of Scotland. We've had a look at the nonces in the EU today. And now we're going to take a look at policemen. And as this channel is fond of saying, the police are not your friend. We have a story here. It's big in the news. It's about David Carrick, of course. I'm not going to go too much in depth in David Carrick. He is just an awful human being. He deserves no publicity. He needs to go into a hole and stay there for the rest of his miserable life. We're going to take a quick look at that, though. We're then going to flick across to another police constable. And then we're going to look at a police inspector. There's three of them. It's one day. I have done innumerable videos on how awful the police are, and now there's three in one day. We deserve better. Let's have a look at this first article. As I say, I'm not going to dwell too much, but we're going to talk about David Carrick lightly. The Met Police Chief, who says it is indefensible that the serial R cop, David Carrick, was allowed to carry on working after allegations were made against him in the wake of the Sarah Everard case, as he is finally sacked 15 months after being charged. This man, David Carrick, had been convicted of nearly 100 different crimes of a sexual nature, but culminating in 48 cases, I believe it was 48 cases of women. He'd also abused them. There was DV. There was all sorts of things. This man is a human turd, really. He is the most disgusting apology. I hope his family are embarrassed by him, appalled by him, ashamed of him. But the allegation that finally got him investigated and arrested and subsequently convicted wasn't the first allegation made against him. It was something like the 9th allegation. So, although he is himself an awful human being, the police had 9 allegations against one man for this kind of repeated behaviour, and he was still allowed to work as a policeman. And even after he was charged, he was not immediately fired. He was kept on full pay. So the Met is as complicit in this as anyone else. And it's unbelievable that other policemen did not know what is going on. And undoubtedly, they covered this up. It needs a full investigation. An ex of the Met cop, David Carrick, says he saw himself as being untouchable. And Sir Mark Rowley has apologised to the victims of the 20-year veteran of the force. The 48-year-old pleaded guilty to attacks on 12 women over 20 years, but it was multiple attacks. It was 48 cases of and another sort of nearly 50 other, cases of various criminal behaviour. It emerged over 1,000 Met officers and staff are currently being probed for abuse claims. Over 1,000 are currently being investigated. This is how bad the police force in this country is. And that's the Metropolitan Police Force. It's not nationwide. It is one police force. And it is one set of crimes. We're not even looking at the corruption, the thievery, the violence, anything like that. It's one force for one crime. Over 1,000 are being investigated. This channel is not wrong when it claims that the police are not fit for purpose. Now that's that story, and I'm not going into that story. He disgusts me, and he can, like I say, he can just rot in a jail cell for the rest of his miserable, shitty life. But we are going to move to this story. A police constable who abandoned his duty to be with a woman in the back of his van in a supermarket car park while COVID guidance was in place is sacked. And I guarantee, if you looked into this, he was sacked for breaching COVID rules rather than banging some bin in a car. The incident happened in a supermarket car park amid the 2020 COVID measures. He abandoned his duty to have this engagement with a member of the public. Northumbria Police's Ian Dawson has now been fired and banned from all forces. Yeah, marvellous. But let's have a look. I bet you it was more the COVID rules that got him than actually doing what he was doing. But why are we employing people that are being paid at public expense to do their job, who are instead having a really great time in the back of a police wagon? And I hope he cleaned it out. It's one of the few cases where I feel sorry for any prisoners going in there, having to sit in his, disgusting emanations. He admitted having a relationship with a colleague that he failed to declare. Nobody really cares about that. But this is the calibre of the police. You have one who has over 48 R convictions against him now, from a force with over 1,000 policemen being investigated for the similar crimes. Now Northumberland police are firing people who are actually having it in the back of their wagons. And that isn't the worst of it, because there is one police inspector who has literally just ended himself rather than face the music. And that's this story here. Let me pull that down a little bit. It is, I'm afraid, in the Sun, not the most wonderful of journalistic and integrity-ridden newspapers. But we'll get rid of that. But it is, we'll block them because I can't stand the Sun. But it is a story nonetheless. You can read the words that I can't say. Go away. What is wrong with this thing? P. Cop, Met Police Chief Inspector found deceased before he was due to be charged over CP. You can read the words. And he was hidden behind trap door. A senior cop. Why is this not... Look, go away. It's not going away. It's annoying me. A senior cop has been found dead at his home after failing to attend a police station to be charged over the possession of these images. The body of Met Police Inspector Richard Watkinson, 49, was discovered by colleagues concerned about his welfare. Police said his death was unexplained. Nothing. It's not unexplained, is it? You know exactly what he's done. Though it's not suspicious. And sources said it is suspected that Watkinson ended himself while under huge mental strain over the case. I'll give you a clue here, guys. If you don't actually live a life full of perversion and disgusting habits, then you won't have anything to fear. So the fact that he's ended himself, well, I will say at least he saved us the cost of a trial, and it's the right thing to do when you are one of those sort of people. But he is yet another example of the police force that we have in this country. I'm going to come up. Now, some people may think that I'm being rather hard-hearted, rather cold in just dismissing the death of a man. I think it's very sad that he died. I really do. I would prefer him as a senior policeman to have done a good 10 years in prison. That would be more fitting. He took the easy way out. But I have no sympathy for people like this. And if he chooses to take the coward's way out rather than face the music and do the time for the appalling crimes he is guilty of, that's his own concern. I am not going to lose sleep over someone like that. But we have got a problem. As a society, we have a police force that is unfit for purpose and that nobody can come up with a solution. We need to disband every force. We need to hold every single senior officer responsible for the actions of their underlings. And if a junior officer does something wrong, it's the senior officer that is responsible for it. The junior officer, yes, he gets whatever is coming to him in terms of breaking the law, but he's joined in his punishment by a senior officer. And that will mean that the senior officers have a very, very strong incentive to ensure that they're not hiring the wrong people and that only the good and the virtuous can become policemen. We do not want saints. I'm not asking for that. And we're not talking about someone who is beyond reproach. But we are asking for people who will not physically attack women, who will not entertain themselves with the worst kind of imagery, who will not steal from victims of crime, who will not batter their wives. You know, some integrity is required. And until we get that, you cannot trust the police. They are not your friends, and you really only need to go to a policeman when you've absolutely got no other option. I shall stop now. Thank you very much for listening. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring that bell for notifications for future output. Leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, never trust a policeman, and goodbye.